Hello everyone, my name is Martin, and in this quick tutorial I will show you how to use Atavism dialog system. So first of all we will start from the Atavism standalone editor configuration, and here we will have to open our dialogs tab. So let's switch to our mob group and let's click on the dialogs. As you can see, I don't have any dialogs here, so let's create one by clicking plus button. Let's call it dialog 01, and here we have a few options. So the first one is checkbox if this dialog should be opening or not, and we need to tick this option because in Atavism you can assign only opening dialogs to our NPC. So let's tick it. Then we have if this dialog should be repeatable or not. So we also need it because we want to talk with this NPC more than once. And then we have some few requirements. We can require another dialogue, so we would have to talk about something else with someone else maybe. We can require a quest, and we can select from the existing quest list, or we can create a new one. And then we have two options related to faction and stance. Faction stance. So we have faction, we can require any particular faction that we configured. In this case we have NPC faction for our NPC, but we don't have to select it. And we have faction required faction stance, and this is basically definition of how high our faction reputation, faction stance should be, so we could be able to use this dialogue with our NPC. We will use it as a friend, so let's say friendly. These levels can be defined in the game settings, and I will show you where exactly after we will configure this dialog first. So let's select it as friendly, and here we have our audio clip. This audio clip is basically an audio group that you can configure within your Unity editor. So let's switch to the Unity editor now. And here we have to open our login scene. As you can see, I already have it opened. So let's click on the scripts game object. And at the very bottom, we should see our Atavism NPC Audio Manager script. And in this script, we have an array of audio groups. We can define as many as we want. So for this tutorial, let's define 3 groups. Let's name the first one as maybe greetings. Greetings. The second one as hello. And the third one maybe auction house. And then we have few parameters for each group. So we can define volume. Right now let's set it to 1, so it's basically 100%. And we have size, and this size defines how many audio clips we want to assign. We can define it here and basically drag audio clip here, or if we will drag the audio clip on the audio clips row, this audio clip will automatically be added to it. You can use any audio clips, and to find audio clips in your project, you can click on this search by type icon and click audio clips. If we will remove our search field, let's click on the audio clips, as you can see, we have all audio clips filtered that we have in our project. In this case, I'm using some of paid asset store packages because Atavism doesn't have many sounds out of the box. But you can use any sound that you want. Which packages we are using for this tutorial I will link in the description. So let's start to configure it. We want to have greetings. Let's say greetings. And we have a few files here. Let's say this one. And the same for hello. Let's say how may I serve you? And in this case I want to drop all files because Atavism can randomize one of the audio clip from the list, so we can drop more than one file and the NPC won't reply all the time with the same way. So in order to do this, we can drag each clip individually to this list. But I will show you one tip. We can lock this inspector window and then we can select more files and drop them all here on the audio clips, like that. And then we have our last auction house group name. Let's call it coin 15, I believe was one of the suitable ones. So let's drag it here to the audio clips. So we will use these audio groups like greetings, like hello, like auction house in our Atavism editor configuration. So let's go back to the Atavism editor. And here we are back in our audio clip configuration. So let's add it. It will be greetings. And then we have a text. Let's keep it short for this tutorial. Greetings, my friend. And here we can add items, and these items are basically our dialog actions. So we can define various actions like another dialog, a quest, ability. We can open repair window, we can open merchant window, bank. We can make this one is a quest to start, and this quest progress is quest progression and quest completion part. Then we can open auction house window, we can open mail window, we can open gear modification window, guild warehouse and guild merchant windows. So there are many actions you can use. So you can define it here, but we will configure it in the new canvas system for our dialogues. But let's move through all these fields first. So we have auction order ID. It's only for sorting purpose. So for example, if our dialogue has more than a few actions and you would want to put something in the middle, you can just modify order ID for them and Atavism will sort them in your game. And then we have a quest, required quest that should be opened. It's basically the quest that should be started. Required quest that should be completed, and excluding quest. So these two are pretty simple to explain because you have to start this defined quest to be able to use this dialog action. For completed quest, required completed quest, you have to complete this quest to start this action, to be able to use this action, this dialog action. And excluding quest, and in this case it's the quest that cannot be started or completed if you want to use this action. So now in Atavism, using dialog system, you can close some paths. For example, if your player would have to choose to which guild he wants to join, and then you would have, for example, a mage guild, a warrior guild, and assassin guild. If your player would start a quest for an assassin guild, and you would pick this quest as an excluding quest, then your player won't be able to use this action to start another quest, for example for a warrior or for a mage. And of course you can add as many actions as you want. Then we have required item and checkbox if this item should be consumed on usage or not. The same way we can configure currency and amount of currency that should be taken from the player if this action would be used. So for example, we can imagine in many games we have teleports or something like that, where your player will be teleported to a distant place, and we want to get some currency from your players for using this teleport. So it can be currency that you can pick, or it can be required item, and you can consume it or not. It can be some kind of traveling crystal that you have to get to enter a specific instance, and only with that crystal you can use this. So you can close some parts of your map, and then we can define requirements, so we can add also as many as we want, and we have few requirements that we can pick here. So we can define player level, we can define skill level, race, class, statistic, and guild level. So we can imagine that you can define, for example, action type as a quest here. You can pick some kind of quest, and this quest will be available only for a player that is within a race human, or maybe only for orcs. It can be also available only for players that has particular strength value. This is statistics, so let's say 500. We can also define guild level, so we can define through this option we can define guild quests, because this quest in this case will be available only for guilds with level 5 or higher. So you can define these actions here, but if you have more than, let's say, dozen of actions, it's hard to see because you can see only one dialogue at once here. So let's remove this action for now. Let's save this opening dialogue because we need this. And now we have our dialogue here in the table view. And to open it again in our form view, we can right click and select edit, as well as we can use double click to open this form again, and of course we can add these actions. But for this tutorial I will show you how to use the new dialog canvas system, and in order to open it we have to click once, and we have our block here. So we can drag our canvas using left mouse button clicked, and we can move our mouse. We can drag our particular dialog box. We can add more actions. So in this case we can click right mouse button and selecting add dialog action. And this will open similar action field, similar action form as we saw before. So we are putting our data here, so we will define, let's say, repair. Let's say I want to repair my equipment. Let's define audio clip, and for this audio clip we are also using our audio groups that we defined in our Unity editor. So we had there greetings, hello, and auction house. We used greetings for our opening dialog, so let's pick here hello maybe. And we are leaving all elements here empty, except currency. Let's say we want to define diamonds, maybe 10 diamonds to open this particular action. Let's save it, and now we have second element in our canvas. So we can also drag it, and now we have to connect it. So in the left side we have inputs. As you can see, we have highlighted dot when we are hovering over it, but we need some output in the right side. So we have to right click on our dialog and we have to pick add action. And in this case we have nothing fancy, just an input field, and we can remove it using this additional action on the left side. But let's click on this dot in the right side near our action, and let's connect it to our repair box. And as you can see, our field here was populated with the same name, with the same text that we defined on our repair action. Let's add one more, so let's add another action, and let's add another box. This box will have ID 2, and let's pick, we had repair, so let's pick, maybe we defined auction house audio group, so let's define, let's pick auction house in this case. I want to open auction house, let's keep it that way. There we had auction house, and for this part we will keep this empty, so we will keep this form as default. Let's save it. As you can see, we can also navigate through this canvas using this right, let's say, minimap, and we can also zoom in and zoom out using mouse scroll. So let's connect it to our second action, and that's pretty much it. The good thing is that if we will add an action, and we won't connect it, and we will want to save it. For example, if we have many dialog actions, many dialogues, and it's a really complex tree, dialog tree, this canvas, dialog canvas, will validate our data. So for example, if we have some element that is not connected anywhere, and if we'll click save, you could see the error message in the right section, and the box that is not connected and that we have to fix will be highlighted in our canvas. So we have selected this one, we are saving it, and it's showing us that this one element has some issues, so we have to remove it. We are removing it by clicking right mouse button and selecting delete option. And now let's click save again. As you can see, we have our dialog in our Atavism editor defined. So let's restart our server. And in the meantime, I will show you where to define these faction stance elements, as I mentioned before. So these are in our server group, game settings, and here we have to narrow down it to faction. And we have neutral, hated, friendly, so all these elements that we had on the list, we can define range for each element. So for example, neutral will be from 0 to 500, as the next one is 500. Then we have friendly from 500 to 1500, and so on. Our server is restarted, so let's switch to Unity editor now, and let's enter into the game. Let's open our admin panel. Let's open our spawner, and let's spawn our NPC with our dialog that we will pick from the dialog option.
Greetings, friend.
And as you can hear, our dialog is opening, and we can hear our
Greetings,
audio clip.
friend.
We can hear our
How may I
voiceover.
serve you? Greetings, friend. How may I serve you? Greetings, friend. How may I serve you? Greetings, friend.
So here we have information that we need 10 diamonds, and
How
each
may I
time
serve
we
you?
will open this action, we will use this action, it will consume 10 diamonds as we selected like that. As you can see, everything is working. So I think it's all for this part. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Atavism YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be alerted when new videos on Atavism are released. Have a great day and happy developing.